Hi, everybody. Just waiting for you guys to all get in here. I'm sorry I'm late. I started answering an email, and you know how that goes. I got distracted. Oh, and my hair looks like a wet dog. Sorry. It's hot here. I'm still letting people in. If you guys have a question, feel free to ask me.
Hi, Patty.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Short and sassy. How about you?
Same.
It's hot here. I'm not a happy camper.
No AC?
I have AC. It's just very humid. I'm on the East Coast.
Oh.
Ugh. I curled my hair cute today. Gals, hairspray doesn't hold hair, just so you know. So yes, I will be back soon. I would guess in a couple weeks or a month or so. Some interesting things going on in the world today, right? Somebody sent me an email in regards to a hoarding tenant and calling Adult Protective Services. Here's what I have to tell you. If you've called Adult Protective Services, you've done your job. Sit back, wait a couple weeks, wait a month, then go in and reinspect and see if anything's been going on. If it hasn't, it shows that you went above and beyond to try to help the tenant to the best of your capabilities. So again, you're not trying to evict them, so there's no retaliatory issues or anything along those lines at this point. So now you hurry up and wait. As nicely as I could explain, hurry up and wait. It sucks, I know, but hurry up and wait. They will not disclose to you a medical condition found or any kind of mental disability found. Think of HIPAA laws. If they had cancer, they wouldn't be calling you first, okay? That's not how this works. So keep that in mind. And as simply as I can say this, you've done your job. You've done everything you can within your power to get them the help and assistance that they needed. It's now in the hands of the powers that be and out of your control. You did your job, okay? Document that you did your job, document what was said, that no follow-up would be given, and leave it at that. It's the simplest way that I could explain it to you. If you don't see results and I'd give them 30 days, it's a governmental agency. If you don't start to see results, go in and in about 30 days and reinspect the property and see what you find. If you find that it's coming along better, great. If you find that it's still a problem, call them back and tell them, hey, it's been 30 days, nothing's going on. I know you can't update me on the personal matter, but are you able to assist this client or not? Okay, so that's going to help paint the picture as we go down the road. We got to be careful though. We're not evicting. So anybody else that's listening to this, keep in mind, if you are calling Adult Protective Services, you don't also want to be evicted. That's considered retaliatory. This person is genuinely trying to help a client that is a pack rat, for lack of a better word. And the reason why I use the word pack rat and not hoarding is forgive me, attorneys use the word pack rat and not hoarding for a reason. Hoarding is a medical condition that is diagnosed by a medical professional. We are not. So it's a pack rat scenario, and it's just a way for attorneys to protect themselves. So my thing is, if an attorney does that to protect their ass, we should do it to protect ours. Just saying, okay? If it's good enough for them, it's got to be good enough for us. I'm just saying, okay? So we want to err on the side of caution and be very cautious with that. I know we're coming to the end of September, and I'm excited. Yay! Light at the end of the tunnel. Or is there? Here comes the Delta variant, right? We knew there was going to be a bunch of variants that came about. Didn't think this one was going to hit so heavily. What's going to happen with that? I have no idea. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, and I'm not going to lie to you. That is way over my pay grade. Okay. But at the end of the day, we can prepare and brace for impact. Now I'm hearing there's quite a bit of controversy, and not to get involved in political stuff, but help me help you so that we all see things clearly on the same page, is we're like half and half for vaccinated and not vaccinated. Okay. For those of us that aren't vaccinated, why can't we go get a test done to see if we carry the antibodies that shows that we can't get this whole thing. Okay. Now, if we're carrying that card and a vaccination person is carrying that card, isn't that segregation? Okay, so for them requiring us to get a card to go into places and get poked in the arm and get their medicine injected in us. And now all I'm saying is I got a feeling that is going to cause a whole nother conundrum in the shit show we're already dealing with, folks. Because reality is some people can't get vaccinated. Some people don't want to get vaccinated, whatever the reasoning may be. Maybe they have a pre-existing health condition. Who knows? But they should be able to carry around a card saying, I don't want to be vaccinated because it doesn't apply to me. Maybe they have the antibodies. And then you have the person that says, no, I have another medical condition. Now we're segregating us, we the people. I don't have to talk to you about the withdrawal from Afghanistan. I know that was a little bit of a mess. And currently we're dealing with recalling Governor Newsom. Oh, some people are saying, oh, we don't need to recall him. He's trying to fix things now. That's why we get to vote. Everybody has a right to an opinion, okay? And although I'm trying to keep my opinion very broad because I don't want to turn anybody off for political reasons. I don't. But what I'm trying to do is get you to pay attention what else is going on in the world that could, might, and most likely will affect us. Let's be honest. Because if it happens there for some reason or other, it seems to trickle down into the housing market. Somebody's employed by them. Oh, best excuse I ever got for non-payment of rent is I can't pay my rent. The Hale-Bopp comet is coming. Okay. Best excuse for non-payment of rent ever was the Hale-Bopp comet. Okay, just so you know. It's a comet and it's coming. I can't make this stuff up, you guys, I swear. All I'm trying to do is get you to open your eyes and be prepared for whatever might come our direction. We have a lot of bouncing balls right now, and just getting rid of the COVID lockdown stuff is just one of them. There's other balls bouncing outside of our scope of what we do. And I just want you to be prepared and pay attention to what's the cannonballs being thrown in our general direction so that we can actually take a deep breath, be calm, and be prepared for what may or may not happen. Okay, that being said, don't want to talk about politics anymore because, again, everybody has a right to an opinion. Welcome to America. So I see that we have questions about hoarding. I see that we have questions, and this was my favorite, about dispositions of security deposit. If you guys are doing a disposition and the tenant's breaking the lease and moving out right now, can you charge the rent on the dispo? No. You cannot even do pre-rents on the dispo. So you can't even fill out the disposition of security deposit and charge them rent to the end of the term. No rent during the protected period can go on the disposition of security deposit. I get a lot of people ask me a lot of questions. Hey, Patty, you said something and my attorney said something totally different. Your attorney is the one that will stand next to you and battle with you in court. I'm the one that wants to keep you from getting there in the first place. Got it? So your attorney may tell you, oh yeah, you can go ahead and raise their rents. You can raise their rents right now. They didn't ever send you a declaration saying that they were affected by COVID. That doesn't mean that they weren't affected just because they didn't tell you. A husband and wife living in a property, both of them working. Wife gets COVID, whatever, and can't work anymore and has to take care of a baby because they have no child care. Okay, so the wife can't work. She now has to become a stay-at-home mom because daycare is closed. Husband's still working, paid the rent the entire time. Were they affected by the pandemic? Absolutely. They lost half their income. They still made sure they paid you, though. All I'm saying to you guys is don't go, okay, the attorney said we could raise rent. Remember, they're the one that's going to argue with you in court. There is no case law. Is it worth the $40 more a month for just a couple months here? One, at this point. So far, fingers crossed, to be accused of retaliatory issues and drug into court and raked over the coals down the road? Err on the side of caution. I know people are hungry for money. I'm one of them. It's okay. You're not alone. Some of our owners are desperate. I get it. But you don't want to throw gasoline on a fire that's already burning. Don't feed the fire. Don't feed the fuel. Yes.
Do we know if the moratorium is going to be extended again? You don't have a crystal ball?
I can get out my crystal ball. Okay. Honestly, I don't know.
What is your hunch?
My hunch is if they lock this whole nation down again as they're talking, there's going to be a civil war. Some of us have not been able to collect unemployment. Okay. If you own your own business and you have 0 employees, you don't qualify for any of the government programs. None of them. Hi, that's me. I'm affected tremendously by this pandemic and my hands are tied. So if they go lock us down again, what's that going to do to me? I can't be alone.
I'm surprised
I'm not
turned into a war already.
I'm not trying to make it all about me, you guys. Please understand that. I'm telling you the story of one person. There's a lot of us. I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm being honest with you. I have a feeling that if they try to lock us down again and take these restaurant owners and hotel owners, and let's face it, it's not just us landlords, because let's face it, if we've been locked down for 16 months on the original, are we going to be locked down for 16 months on the variant? Can a bar owner or a restaurant owner, let's go a nail salon or a hair salon, hold on for another 16 months? What about us in housing that haven't been paid in 16 months? We're going to get foreclosed on.
Right.
I mean, I wish I had good, powerful things to tell you that, you know, there's light at the end of the tunnel. This is going to be great. We're going to be fine. At the end of the day, we'll figure it out. But come on, they're throwing flaming cannonballs at us.
Right.
But in the meantime, we just have to dodge them and duck them and make sure that we're staying out of legal. We're not exposing ourselves to potential lawsuits. I mean, I just got the gist again today, so pay attention. I may ask questions later. As of right now, in the state of California, the entire state, all court cases filed for landlord-tenant litigation, 2% are uncontested. 2% across the state. 98% of all cases filed in court right now are being contested and heavily litigated because there's no case law. We're seeing most trials go a year to a year and a half, and then just to add insult to injury, 92% of those court cases that are in court right now are settling. So hold on a minute. If you're telling me that I'm going to go through the legal process and spend, let's be honest with each other, $5,000 to $10,000 over the course of the next year to year and a half to get my tenant out, and I'm going to lose a year and a half's worth of rent, how much is that worth to me? Because cash for keys sounds a lot more inviting, because then I get my property right now. If I go all the way through the process and I wait the 16 months and then I'm paying them to get out, it doesn't make any sense from a business perspective.
Right.
You with me? Thank you, Ed. You're with me too. He's like, right.
Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't the case, but
how much money are you going to spend to prove that you're right? Because you are.
Right.
But how much money are you going to spend to prove to get there?
It's better to be smart than right, than correct.
So I know it hurts, and it's a big old thorn right in your side because this isn't fair and this isn't right. And I get it. Bureaucracy and bullshit. I get it. But you have to think past that and take care of you at the end of the day and what makes better sense for you financially, business-wise, everything. I mean, can you imagine going through a court case for 16 months only to pay them 10 to 15 grand to get them out? When you could have done that 16 months ago, saved 16 months of rent and $10,000 in legal expenses?
Right.
I hope this made the light bulb come on. Please be careful. Some cities passed a moratorium, City of Los Angeles, I believe it is, that will not allow anyone to do cash for keys. You must go through the legal system. Wait a minute, they can force us? Well, what do I know? I never thought they'd be able to come in my house, go in my safe and change the date that my rentals were due. So again, who knows? Err on the side of caution. Nobody needs to be drug into a lawsuit right now. Nobody. They're costly. They're expensive. As for a trial by jury in LA, they haven't done any jury trials since the pandemic's happened. They tell you to come back in 30 days. You pay another trial appearance. Okay. You come back in 30 days and they say, we can't do jury because of COVID. Come back in 30 days. Opposing counsel knows this, and they're testing you to see how long it's going to take before you finally go, okay, how much money do you want? I got to stop the bleeding. My sink is shipping. No, my ship is sinking. Total blonde right there. You guys just heard it live and in person.
Patty, so what do we need to do now in preparation for the end of hopefully the moratorium?
It's not really the end of the, well, hold on a minute, because if you're in the city of Los Angeles, they have an additional 12 months of protections. If you're in the county of Los Angeles or the county of San Diego, they have an additional 6 months of protections. So if you're wanting to terminate tenancy, increase rents, change any terms of anything, ask for your house back, wait until April Fool's Day to even serve the notice. It's not worth getting drug into court and getting in a debate where there's no case law. How much money are you going to spend to prove you're right? I know you're frustrated. You want to sell your house right now. I get it. I'm with you. I got one of those myself. I have skin in the game, but I also understand the risk that's glooming over me. We, the people, have lost our right to a speedy trial. It may be fair, that's yet to be determined, but it is not speedy. They're currently setting jury trial dates for a year from now. And everybody's asking for trial by jury to buy time because there's no case law. None, nothing. Okay. So it's this big, giant snollygoster that I don't want any part of. Are we getting judgments? Yes, we're getting judgments for possession only. So if you have a tenant that owes you hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, they're not going to award you money judgment during a pandemic in court. They will award you a possession judgment, and that's it. Your opportunity to go after the money isn't until small claims opens in November. November 1st, small claims court opens with an unlimited amount due to the COVID pandemic. But again, apply for the government money. It makes more sense, right? It's the tenant that needs to qualify, not us as the landlord. We just need to prove we own it. That's what we need to prove. They're the ones that need to look in the checking account and go through their bank statements. And they're the ones that'll be under the microscope, not us. So apply for the government money. It makes the most sense. If you wait and go through the small claims process and get a judgment against them, and it's a hefty one, the chances of the tenant filing for bankruptcy at a later date are high. If that happens, you lose. That's simple. The money's gone. Okay, keep that in mind. And I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to get you to think of a roadmap that works for your situation.
Patty, we've been trying to get our tenants to apply. We've been reaching out to all of them. Some of them have, some of them are not, just not doing their part. Is there anything else we can do?
Well, I can tell you why the tenants are not doing their part.
They don't qualify. They're
They've
manipulating.
been dishonest, and we'll leave the statement at that. Okay, in whatever way, shape, or form. Come October the 3rd, I believe it is, you can start eviction on them failing to participate in the government-funded program. And we are seeing people that are being paid the federal funds for people that have vacated during the tenancy, where they can't get a hold of the tenant. They're still bailing out owners. So I encourage you, if your tenant's gone, if they owed you money and disappeared in the middle of the night, if you evicted them, whatever it may be, apply for the money. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to be told no. That's the worst thing. Okay. That's not a bad thing, you guys. What if they say yes? What if? And I know April's been on here a lot. I don't know if she's on here today. I'll look in a second. But we've seen a lot of people getting paid. A lot of people are starting to get that government income. Had a tenant that just logged on, made an account and got off and didn't apply, didn't give them any information. And because they did that part, they're getting the government money. Okay. Okay, I want to answer questions and I saw them coming up. So let me go back, and they're probably comments. Oh my goodness. Val, we have a tenant with a bad neighbor named Travis. I know a Travis. Travis moved in a rental house next door when his daughter moved out without alerting the manager. Okay, now Travis has a personal vendetta against my tenants. He's a big, scary, muscular bully. My tenants are afraid. Travis says he'll kick your ass whenever he sees them. It's terroristic threats. Call the police. And that's just it right there. Travis constantly mows his lawn. Constantly? Then he squirts grass into the street, and then purposely squirts grass into the front of my tenant's house. I've spoken with Travis's manager, who is unaware this guy is not on the lease, but is trying very hard to get rid of him during COVID. It's a nightmare to get rid of him during COVID, just so you know. Unless you have a police report, and if he's threatening to kick your ass, that's a terrorist threat. See where all this is going? Hold on, let me get back. He is not on the lease, but he isn't trying very hard to get rid of him during COVID. He can't get rid of him during COVID. Just so you know, anybody can bring in anybody and say that they were affected by the pandemic. And here's how the law kind of works. And I say kind of because there's no case law. When the pandemic ends, the unauthorized occupants must end. If they don't, then you can evict them. Okay. But as far as them running in and hiding in the unit or staying in the unit, all they have to do is say they were affected by COVID, and you're going to lose. So don't even go down the road. Just wait. When the pandemic period ends, they got to go. If they don't, you can evict them for that. My tenants don't want to call cops. I called the water department, but they must catch him in the act, and there isn't much more we can do anyway. Yeah, it is miserable. Unless you can get the tenants to file a police report based on the terroristic threats he's made by kicking asses, not a whole lot you can do. Once you have a police report, even if it's just a report stating that he did do that, you can give him a 3-day, this is in Kern County, correct? You can get a 3-day notice to quit based on the illegal activity going on in the unit. And it's really hard to defend that in a courtroom. Does that make sense? There's not a lot of defense for the tenant to come back at. Will they fight you? Maybe, but there's not a lot of defense there, is what I'm trying to say. Small claims opens November 1st. If they already moved out, you can't put rents on a disposition of security deposit until, hi April, until after the pandemic protected period's over. So when you do a disposition on October 1st, you should be able to put rents on there starting in October, but not rents during the protected period. Those cannot ever go on a disposition of security deposit. Rents that are owed during the tenant protected period from March of 2020 through September 30th of 2021 are only collectible in small claims court. You can't ever put them on a disposition of security deposit. It's considered retaliatory. In the unincorporated area of LA County, when would you be able to evict the tenant as to the owner move-in? I do have to wait. Do I have to wait till April 1st too? You could, Tony, it's LA County unincorporated area, so it's not the city of Los Angeles. I'd go knocking and talking. And Val, I see your next question. I'd go knocking and talking. Go knocking and talking and talk to the tenant and tell them, hey, I have a crisis. I need to move back in. I know this isn't your fault. There's not a whole lot of places to go. Can you please do your best to try to get out of here? I'll try to give you the allotted time, and I'll also help you with relocation assistance or cash for keys. Okay, it's what you want to do to cover your, I just explained to you how long the legal process is taking and what the outcome is. Remember, 98% of all cases are being litigated, and 92% of cases currently open are going to settlement. So there's 8% of all the cases going on that may make it all the way to case law. Make sense? And it's not 8%. I did the math wrong. I am blonde, but it's damn close. All right, let me see what else we got. If a tenant moved out in May of 2020 with no rent due, you can do the disposition of security deposit, no problem. Damages are damages, and you can put them on, if you put them on the disposition of security deposit, you can go file an action in small claims court. Hi, Anna. I doubt I could ever get a cent from her, but I could pursue money judgment and let that sit on our credit report or their COVID funds. Not for damages. There's COVID funds for rent, not for damages, Val. So that won't help you there. It will sit on our credit report, and I'll be honest with you, it doesn't just sit there. You can implement a wage garnishment and garnish her wages. And if it were me, I would serve her with the small claims paperwork before November so that you beat the masses that are gonna file on November 1st. Get ahead of the masses. Okay. What do I need to do now to ensure that we can collect the rents due later? Just serve the 15-day notices? Ed, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself and ask me that question again.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm what do we need to do right now in order to ensure that after the moratorium is over, that we can collect the rents? Is it just the 15-day notice, or is any other
The
form?
15-day notice, the tenants COVID Protection Act with the tenants' rights and their disclosure needs to be served on a monthly basis.
Okay.
And their disclosure about their rights needed to go out 3 times, I believe. Senate Bill 91, we had one. We had one for Senate Bill 3088. Is that the only 2 laws we had governing us? AB 3088 and Senate Bill 91? It's been a lot, you guys. It's been a lot. I
can't keep track anymore. It's insane.
Only when the wind blows do the rules change. Can the owner collect rent or apply for the government program, ERAP, or in a small claim if they haven't paid RSO or SCEP fees? Technically, you should be able to evict them if they haven't paid their RSO or SCEP fees, but because of the pandemic, you're gonna have to wait. So I would sit tight on your SCEP fees. You may be able to include those in as part of your loss of rents.
I think she meant if the owner hasn't paid the RSO or the SCEP fees.
Well, usually they split back and the tenant pays $3.50 more a month on that part. Who knows? With everything that's going on and you talking about RSO and step fees and us just talking about what happens in court, remember, if they're not following the rules, that's your option. So if you want to attack that option, I would definitely contact your legal counsel to ask them what you're up against and what they predict the outcome to be. Because even people that are evicting or for cause are going to settlement and paying them to get them out. Ed, don't make that face.
I love you,
you
Patty,
ever-
but I hate these calls because it's just, it makes me angry, sorry.
But
Not you, of course. But,
I know, and I could sugarcoat it and blow smoke at you guys, but that's just not my personality. I'd rather tell you like it is. I'd rather be the bubble buster and the dream crusher and the one that goes, oh, you told us this might happen. I tried to warn you.
Yeah.
Good news going on out there. Yes, there is some. They've passed a law. It's currently only in low-income housing. Mostly we see it in federal tax credit properties, okay? Where tenants can request that their monthly rent be reported to the credit reporting agency.
Repeat that?
What, Ed?
No, I didn't hear you.
There is a new law out where tenants can request us, and currently it is only for low-income housing, tax credit properties, so on and so forth.
Oh,
Okay,
to
you
report
guys?
to the credit agencies.
Yes, and you can charge them $10 a month to do that report for them and report to the credit agency. Why am I smiling and giddy about this? Because this is a trial run. If this works out and everything's good and tenants like it, because come on, you guys, let's face it, it's the tenants that make the rules, not us. Because it reflects on their credit report and they make it a law across the board. Do you know how much easier it will be for us to put on tenants' credit reports that the rent's delinquent?
We've been reporting, I mean, not during the pandemic, but way before the pandemic, we've been reporting.
Right. Now you can, if a tenant requests that you report, you can charge them $10 a month to do that.
Love
Okay.
it. Okay.
Just so you know, a lot of tenants, especially in low income housing, just so you guys understand the why behind this,
They want to build their credit.
is they want to build their credit. They're trying to fix their problems. They're trying to take a step up in the world. Okay. You gotta love and respect that. But if this works the way that I think it's going to, eventually it may be where we can report on a monthly basis on bad credit on all of our tenants. Ugh. Do you know how nice that would be able to see, to run credit on somebody and see their rental history? I mean, eye-opening for us, right? But let's let these little guys with big voices give us their plan and their reasoning of why they want to build their credit. They want us to help them because remember, that's a two-way road. So it sounds really great to them. Let's encourage it, okay? Because if it goes across the board, how nice would it be to run a credit report and look and see how late your tenant's been delinquent on their rent for the last years? You could look it up, right? Yeah, I'm excited. I don't get excited about much in these dark times, but hey, I'm excited about that one. Anything that helps give us another tool. It seems like everything that I hear about takes a tool away. It doesn't add one for us. April, do you have a money update for us? I can tell you guys this. As of September 1st, HDI-CLA has been refunded with money. If you have someone that owes money in the city of Los Angeles, HDI-CLA area, go apply. Apply. Even if you've applied before and you haven't heard anything, you haven't got any registration numbers, you haven't, stop, go reapply. They fixed the bug in the system is the nicest way and the simplest way that I could explain it. Some people fell through the cracks. If you haven't heard anything, you might be one of them. In order to get out of the crack, you need to go reapply for the money, okay? So go reapply. They're also paying tenants or landlords on tenants that have already vacated during the pandemic. So, and they're up to 100% that they're paying us. As nicely as I could say this, looking at all of the options that are weighed in our general direction, applying for the government funds, I feel, in my professional opinion, is the best way to go. And for those of us that are like, I don't want to participate in government program and I don't want them in my business, blah, blah, blah. Can I just remind you of one thing? We're all paying for it anyway. Okay. If you're paying for it anyway, you might as well get your piece of the pie. Okay. Not trying to turn you off or make you upset. Yes, I know it's a slow process, April. I know. You can unmute yourself if you want to and talk to us and give us an update. I also understand you might be on the phone.
I was a few minutes ago, so I was gonna talk and then I got a phone call.
No worries. Tell us an update, darling.
Pretty much they are moving faster, especially since they added LA City on September 1st. I've been receiving responses. I've actually gotten phone calls now instead of just emails. So
yeah, just so you guys know, this is Gavin Newsom trying to wipe his butt. he's got to keep everybody happy if he doesn't want to be recalled.
Let him wipe.
So I know some people were asking exactly how many months that they're willing to bail us out, and it's at least 18 months that they will pay.
Say that one more time, because I know a lot of homeowners are currently doing one of these.
Yeah, I was what? So
yeah, right?
I found out today, this morning, that one of my tenants that had already been approved and we already received payment for several months, she got an email stating that they will pay her for her current month, which is September, and an additional 2 months, which will take her to 18 months. So
they're paying her rent all the way to November?
Correct.
They're paying her rent all the way to November.
Now, she was one of my tenants that did pay her 25% of the monthly rent. She followed all the rules, submitted all her documentation. So I don't know if it's just her or for everyone, but she followed all the rules of the program.
If she followed all the rules of the program, God love her, number one. Number two, she gets 2 free months out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeehaw, good for her. Do you know how stoked I would be if I was a tenant and I did everything I was supposed to by the book, even though I was struggling and getting poked in the eye every time I turned around? Because let's face it, that's what's been happening to all of us. So we know it's happening to them. Okay. And then to finally, at the end of the day, be rewarded for my efforts by getting 2 free months rent. If you can't sell this to your tenants, we need to have a conversation.
Well, I had another tenant that was not even responding to the rent relief program anymore because she thought they paid and it was done and over with. But I responded, and now she has a credit of $34.75 on her account.
$3,475?
Correct.
Not $34?
No.
That's awesome.
$3,475.
So if you applied for the government funds prior to September 1st and you have heard nothing, reapply, please, I beg you. Please. You might have fell through the cracks. Just go reapply. It doesn't take long.
Also, Patty, if they go onto their account, they will notice that they are making changes as far as the status. So when you see your status and it says non-responsive, they're talking about the tenant. So you need to confirm with the tenant if they received a phone call, an email, have them check their spam folders. If they say, I don't have anything, then you need to call and let your the representative that you submitted all your documents to, you need to let them know that the tenant was not contacted, which means they're just trying to push through as fast as they can to get through all the applications. So some of them, like you said, fell through the cracks or they just got pushed to the side.
Or they're sitting on someone's desk that's on maternity leave. Let's face it.
Yes.
Life
Yes.
is happening to them, okay?
Yeah. Yes.
So go apply, go reapply, and then apply again. I'm kidding, but just reapply if you haven't heard anything. You should also get a case number, correct?
Yes, you do get a case number.
Okay.
It's usually at the top left-hand corner of the screen. So when you call, they're going to ask you for a case number and that's the number you give them.
And then they need to match the landlord's case number with the tenant's case
Yes.
numbers. That's
Yes.
important. Because otherwise it's two separate and they don't know.
They
They
do
can't-
not give you any information if you provide the tenant's ID number. If you provide the landlord's ID, they will give you information.
If we didn't get the declaration of COVID-19 and the 25%, we ask the tenants for that before any legal action, or is it better not to ask for it? You're required to notify them of their rights for the COVID Tenant Protection Act. And you're gonna have to wait 18 days, I believe it is, into October before you're able to start a case on non-payment of rent. If you didn't get a declaration back. And again, please don't forget what you're signing up for. And I'm just talking to you about how busy the court is today, right now. Not on October 1st, not in November, not when or if the housing market crashes and we're inundated with foreclosures and then foreclosure evictions. Just today, that's what the picture is painted. So I don't know about you guys, but if I hired my legal counsel to get somebody out for whatever reason it was, because I don't play around. If I'm at the breaking point, we're there, I'm going. I don't know that I would be comfortable signing up for a year to 16 months of litigation expenses. Everything is heavily litigated because there is no case law. And for those that say, oh, don't worry, it should go relatively quickly. There's no defense to this. You're probably still looking at 6 months. Let me give you an example. If you file a case electronically right now for the high desert area, let's say Victorville, Apple Valley, Lucerne Valley, anywhere in that area, Big Bear, they are all heard in the Barstow Courthouse. The Barstow Courthouse is running between 45 and 60 days behind. So from the time you give them the paperwork at the courthouse, 2 months could go by before you ever get a case number so that you can serve the tenant with the lawsuit. 2 months. 2 months before they're even served the lawsuit. Know what you're signing up for if you're going to court. I know for the past 30 years, my brain has been wired. Oh, we'll just put them in legal. Oh, they're in violation of their contract. Put them in legal. Put them in legal. You'll even hear me sometimes. Oh yeah, then contact your attorney. Start the process. I have to retrain my brain too. The justice system is just us. Okay. If you went to a landlord and you were managing investment property and you went to your landlord and said, yeah, we can evict them, it's going to take a year to a year and a half or longer. Would you be like, oh yeah, sign me up for that? Just keep asking yourself, how much money are you going to pay to prove you're right? Because at the end of the day, you're right. But they are not awarding attorneys fees during this pandemic period. They are not awarding monies at all. It's possession only judgments. Ouch. Ouch. Okay, anybody have questions? Let me check and see really quickly what we got here. I got somebody waiting I missed. Sorry about that. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. Where'd you guys go? Here you are.
Hey, Patty,
Yes.
this is Karen. How you
Hi,
doing?
Karen. Short and
Good.
sassy.
Stop it. Listen, I talked to you about that infestation. The rat infestation. Anyway,
Yes.
I call rodent. I'm out here at the unit now with rodent stop. So they've gone through all my units, okay?
Okay.
Now, I know that we've talked about evictions. How can I evict for unsanitary, unhealthy conditions? And do I have to wait till after this COVID is done? Because what they've done, okay, wait, you're shaking your head. Wait a minute. I can do it now or don't do it? What? Because they can't even, this is another whole unit that they went in. And it's my pack rat unit. Okay. Let me show you my face. Okay, this is my pack rat. This is my pack rat unit. They went
Okay.
in and they
Pack
are
rats usually have rats, cockroaches, and
That's-
everything else
and-
that comes
and-
with uncleanly conditions.
and that's what they found in the stove. And they
Did he
pulled
put it on a report?
See, and that's what I'm trying. That's what I wanted to ask you. I need to have everything in writing to that effect before I do anything, because I'm gonna have to. They're gonna have to clean everything out. But the
Well,
guy said this thing.
Exactly. And
the-
here's the thing, if they fail to comply with the exterminator, that's another cause for eviction.
So what does the exterminator need to have on that? They need
He
to
needs
put
to
that
give you an
report.
estimate telling you that the house is unhealthy to live in, it's unsightly, it's uncleanly, that the trash and debris needs to be removed, that the clutter needs to be removed. He needs to give you details of
Okay.
what needs to be done in order to prepare that unit for his arrival, number one. Number
Okay.
two, he needs to tell you why you have this infestation, because the tenant has a pack rat problem or whatever it may be.
Yeah, you heard me use the different term.
I
right?
did.
Yeah,
I'm
see,
proud of
I'm
you. So
listening.
just so everybody knows, and I'll
now
say
the-
it again, we don't want to call them hoarders. And the reason that I say that is because I've worked in a law firm for 5 years and the attorney never called him a hoarder. They've always referred to him as a pack rat. One day I asked why. It's because a hoarder is defined by a medical professional. So if you say someone's a hoarder, you just diagnose them with a medical condition and you're not a doctor. See the problem? So
Yeah.
they're a pack rat, folks.
Now the workers, this was out there now. Okay, the workers are out here right now, and they're
Okay.
the ones that told me that verbally. So they don't have any paper or whatever on them.
You
So-
need something in writing from them, especially if they want the job from you.
Well, they're working on my stuff now. They did go in the back unit when they first came out to do the initial, when I first started this with the other units, and I sort of added the other building. It's like fix the building, but check the building while you're out here. So they were unable to get in at that time until now. So they're working around everything else, but now they're saying, we can't do nothing in this one. We can't, the stove is no good. The stove is.
I get it. I get it. And I apologize for those of you that can hear the two cats fighting in the background. I'm working from home today.
Just forgive me if you hear the train, because my unit is right across from the Compton station over here.
No worries. Get in writing from them and they'll give you a cleanliness report, a cause of infestation. Those are the legal terms used for what we want is a cleanliness report and a cause of infestation. If that's a cat fight. Sorry.
So I
If
need
they-
to call the office then, because they don't have any paper or anything right now. They
No,
don't
tell
have
them you need a cleanliness report
Okay.
and you need a cause of infestation.
Okay, great.
Okay. And that'll help you with that one.
And I can evict to get them out of there to.
Now, This is
Now, once
cause.
I get that report, yeah, because I don't want them blowing up anything in there. They said that stove is no good. It got to come out. So, okay.
Yes, Cindy, I will. I see your question. I don't know what it's all about, but I'll look at my
Okay.
email when we're done and I'll get back to you.
All right.
No
Thank-
problem, darling. Thank
Thank
you, Karen. Anybody else have anything else they want to ask me? Okay, here we go. We're rocking and rolling here. I will answer your question, Cindy. Val, I will also answer your question. Oh, goodness, somebody just typed me a book. Tony, I'll get to you in just a second. I have Anna in front of you. If I have rentals under LARSO, when is it okay to take rent owed out of a security deposit disposition or from future residents if they owe any unpaid rent? You can't touch the protected period. So from March of 2020 to September 30th of 2021, enough. Sorry, cat fight. In that period can never go on a disposition of security deposit. Starting in October on the 1st, if you have 1 day of rent owed in a dispo on October 1st, you can put that 1 day of rent on October 1st on your disposition. Nothing from March through September through the protected period can never be deducted from a security deposit that way. It can only be allocated in a small claims case. I hope that answered that question. And then let me get Tony. She has a little book here. For the owner move-in, I'm going to go see really quick and make sure this cat isn't trapped. Okay, hang on. Sorry, folks. Just bear with me. What's going on? Are you in trouble? No, you're just having a fight. We'll have a fight later. I'm busy. Sorry, you guys. I thought I might go check and make sure that somebody wasn't trapped or hanging from a ceiling fan or, you know, those weird things us moms think about. Okay, let's get back. Sorry. For the owner move-in, these tenants don't want to move. Of course they don't. Tony, if it's in LA, if it's, you can do it now. They said they understood they were going to move out of the apartment. It was in excellent condition. Attorney gave them a 60-day notice on October 30th. They were going to move out by the end of December. And at this time, there was no relocation phase set for LA County. We returned the declaration rent owed to us in the January 20. They tried paying multiple times. The recommendation of our attorney, they kept the money and refused to move and sent the bastards after us with false habitability claims. Of course. So I already know cash for keys will not work here. We tried a couple times at jury trial, but they just plain refused to move and were causing damage and setting up unsafe conditions outside the apartment and notify the health department. The health department found we have no violations in discovery, and in the disposition or deposition, it clearly showed they were lying. We dismissed in December 2020 at the attorney's recommendation. So what are they doing to get you possession? You still don't have possession? Contact your legal counsel and ask them, what can I do right now to get possession? I need them out. Kayla, for new applicants, can we start asking for rental history or base our decision on past due rent? Huh. Oh, Katya, sorry. I didn't look at that clearly. I don't have my glasses on. You can ask for rental history and you can base your decision on past due rents, just not during the COVID protected period. So any rent
We just ask for the rental history. If they give it to us, that's their problem, right? We don't say we don't want the rental history during COVID period. We just say we want the rental history. Whatever they give us, they give us.
That's right. And for you guys, I'm going to tell you this, keep your mouth shut. Where this becomes a problem is when someone is asking you for your tenant's rental history. Don't give out any information that happened during the protected period. That's what's going to save your butt. You can ask for whatever you want. They might not give it to you. They might not know any better. Not a you problem. Okay, but you can always ask. No problem with asking. Where that all becomes a problem is if you say they didn't pay me during COVID. That's where the lawsuit comes in. Okay. So remember, when people are asking you, all you can say is, I'm sorry, we don't talk about what happened during the protected period of COVID. Did you have any other questions for me? Okay. So I'm not worried about what information people give you. I'm worried about what information you give people. And I hope that cleared it all up, because we can't control what other people tell us, but we have to control what comes out of our mouth. Okay, so be careful of what comes out of your mouth. From Karen, what type of notice?
You know what? I
what-
didn't finish it. I didn't.
Go ahead.
Not a 3 day, 10, 30 day, 60 day, immediate, what, 3 day, what?
On which one?
The pack rats, the unhealthy, unstable,
If
unsanitary.
you can get something from the exterminator that gives you cause of infestation and things about that nature, then the next thing that I would do is contact my attorney and say, they're a pack rat. Now I have a vermin problem because of them being pack rats. And I have in writing that it's because they're pack rats.
Okay. Okay.
It might be a much quicker case. When you have all your ducks in a row, there's usually not a big defense and you won't get raked over the coals in court. How do you defend that?
Yeah. And I really can't. I mean, the people, they've been good. They pay their rent. They've been good. I don't have any problems out of them, but
I get it, but unfortunately, if there's a fire at the building and they don't get out because there's so much crap there, that's going to sit on your shoulders, and we can't have that.
right, right. Okay, got it. Can't contact the attorney. All right.
You got it.
Thank you.
But get that in writing first. You need
I
that.
agree.
Otherwise, it's hearsay.
Okay, right.
When you have a professional exterminator company, which is a mutual third party that's willing to put in writing what the actual problem is, then it's not you telling them to clean up their crap. It's someone unrelated to the whole situation telling them you need to clean up your crap.
right,
So the judge
right.
looks at it differently. Thank you, Ed. I see that.
Okay, thank you.
No worries, no worries. Does anybody have anything else they want to attack me with for this week? Next week should be rather exciting. We have some new updates coming for you next week, and we'll go from there. And I see another question coming through, so hang tight. So if we get an applicant with a $34,000 for rent, we cannot deny them if their credit is okay. Suddenly they can pay a new rent. Katya, I think what you're asking, thank you, Val, for telling everyone to vote yes on Newsom's recall. And a lot of people have been asking who has us landlords' best interest at heart in the candidacy for governor for state of California. So if you could also give us who you think would be the best candidate for us landlords instead of raping us, that would be great too. That way it's not coming from me. If you have an applicant with a $34,000, it doesn't say what, Katya, is what I'm getting. Are you saying if they're $34,000 delinquent? I'm just trying to understand what you're asking me. So if you have an applicant that's $34,000 delinquent somewhere else, okay, because of COVID and their credit's okay, you can't inquire what happened during the COVID protected period from March of last year to the end of this month. So from March of 2020 to September 30th of 2021, that is the COVID tenant protected period. You can't ask if they paid rent. You can't ask if they were jerks. You can't ask if they got vaccinated. I'm playing. You can't inquire what happened during the protected period. And remember, everybody was affected, so they are protected. Rent relief is only paying 75% of rent from July 2021 until November 2021. Once the tenant requests the additional funding request on their portal and gets recertified. Okay, Tony, so we got a little bit of an update there for more recent rents. Our biggest problem was we had a lot of people that hadn't, they ran out of money. They ran out of funding. I don't think they ran out of funding though. I think people just fell through the cracks and they got lost. So now they have a system in place. They've implemented a system that seems to work. Landlords are getting paid. I encourage you to go apply for the money. It's not your business that the government's trying to get into. It's a tenant's business. And the reality is, you guys, we're all paying for this money anyway. You might as well try to recoup your losses the best you can while it's being handed to you on a platter. And nothing the government does is quick, except leave Afghanistan. I'm kidding. So what I'm trying to say is, if you apply for the money, it's not something that happens quickly. It does take time. What else do I know that's going on? We got some interesting things coming up next month. I'm excited. We're getting closer to October. Anybody else have any questions? Otherwise, I'll end this for today. No, nothing. Elder, thank you, Val. I was thinking the same thing. So please, you guys, recall Gavin Newsom. He's the one that made it so we didn't have to pay rent. So they didn't have to pay rent. Tenants have more rights in the state of California than landlords because we're outnumbered, but somebody needs to make that more of an even playing field. Right now, the system is broken and we need to find somebody to help us fix it. And for those of you in the LA area, I was notified yesterday there were small planes flying about with banners on them saying, recall Gavin Newsom and drink more wine. At this point, I say batten down the hatches and get ready for God knows what's going to come at us next. Who knows? We might get some murder hornets. Who knows? Who knows? All right. I thought I saw something else in here. Hang on. Yes, elder. Oh, thank you, you guys. All right. You guys have a great week. I'm here if you need me. Feel free to give me a ring. I'd be more than happy to help assist you with whatever I can. And we'll go from there. As far as next week, I should have some updates for you regarding the court systems, and we may even have a guest speaker. So I'll talk to you then. Until then, have a great week, you guys. Bye.
Alrighty, bye-bye. Thank you.
Uh-huh.